The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Ah, look who's come out of his cave.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Can you hear us?
We can, yeah. How many of you are there today?
There's 3 of us.
Okay. Who have we got?
We got Tim, I'm the guitar player.
Greg, the keyboard player.
Matt, the drummer.
Hey, awesome. Great to meet you guys. I'm James, and this is Brendan.
Hello.
Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
How you guys doing this weekend?
Good.
Doing pretty good. Beautiful day here today.
Oh, nice. It's all cloudy and overcast
You
here.
guys,
It's nice
Where are
here.
you guys at?
I'm
Brett-
in. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm in Connecticut and the East Coast, and yeah, it's just like kind of cold but bright blue skies.
Nice.
I'm in California, so it's kind of weird that we don't have blue
Where in
skies.
California are you at?
Southern California, it's in Orange County, kind of between San Diego and Los
Dude, I'm
Angeles.
from San Diego. I'm from Oceanside.
Oh, awesome. That's not far from me, actually. I've been down there a bunch of times.
Nice.
It's pretty
Are you
cool.
from Australia?
Sort of, yeah. I lived there for like a long time. I'm from New Zealand originally, but I lived in Australia for
I
years.
spent a lot of time in Anchorage. I love New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
really?
beautiful over there. I never knew I liked lamb so much.
that's fine.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. I miss it a lot, but like the only thing is there's not much job opportunity there because it's such a small country. It's like the whole country is 4.5
Yeah.
million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
tiny.
And don't sheep
Um,
outnumber humans like 3 to 1 there?
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
they do.
I was like, dude, that's awesome.
We're moving. They're moving more into dairy now, so like the sheep numbers are dropping, and there's more and more
Oh,
cows.
nice. That's interesting.
But yeah, Australia is the same. No one knows it about Australia, but there's actually way more sheep than people in
I
Australia.
would have never guessed that, honestly.
And there's like, I don't know, what is it, 7 times as many kangaroos as
Dude,
people
those
as well.
things are gnarly. The red kangaroos.
Yeah, they're pretty
'cause I went
scary
to
actually.
Australia too, and I spent some time in Australia, and they were saying the truckers, like when they hit them, like it ruins their truck, but the kangaroos like fine. Like they're
Oh,
that
yeah.
early, dude.
My,
They're that massive and that muscular. Like that's insane.
They get up, try to fight the truck.
My my dad lives out in the outback in this like little tiny town, and every time he drives back, he has these things called like a roo bar, which is like your version of a bull bar on the front of his car. Just if you get hit without one of those, you die pretty much. And he hit a kangaroo like a few weeks back, and the whole car like almost like stopped in its tracks, and the thing just bounced
Yeah,
off
it's
and kept
crazy.
running.
It's crazy how muscular those things are, man.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is James from Cave Dweller Music. I have Brendan here with me as usual, and today we have True Villains with us. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what up?
So who have we got here today?
We got Tim, I'm the guitarist in the band.
Greg, I'm the keyboardist.
Matt, I'm the drummer.
Awesome. Good to have you guys on. So who are we missing today?
We're missing Bo, the lead singer, and Barry, our bass player. I don't think they
Okay,
might
yeah.
still be sleeping. I don't know.
No, they're in a calisthenics class.
Yeah, they're
Good for them.
So if anyone who's listening today who isn't familiar with your band, do you want to just tell us who you guys are, where you're from, and a little bit about yourselves?
well, we're kind of from all over the entire country. I'm from New York. Greg is from North Carolina. Matt's from San Diego. Bo is from Minnesota, and Barry's from Florida. So basically, every corner of the U.S. And yeah, we all met here in Nashville and had a mutual love for rock and roll, and this band is the result, pretty much.
Awesome. And obviously you guys have, well, you're a modern rock band, there's a lot of modern twists, but you have some inspiration from the classic sort of 70s, 80s style. What made you guys sort of pick to go down that path?
Well, we kind of got pushed in that direction because we started off writing more on the classic rock side, and then because we didn't want to be just another like active rock radio band. And I'm not talking down about any specific type of genre, but I guess we wanted to be a little bit more on the classic side. But then we started working with a producer who was like, let's kind of make this a little bit heavier and sometimes and kind of, because we all like that type of music, but we just didn't want to, we kind of wanted to be like outstanding from other types, like just something that set us apart, because Bo has such a distinct voice that you can't really like Bo singing over like heavier types of riffs just didn't seem to make sense to us. But we've kind of found a way to like mesh together the old like classic style with like a new contemporary modern rock vibe, and we're super stoked with the result.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And like you guys probably don't know this about us, but our site has a general rule that we don't review or interview hard rock bands. Not for any reason that we don't like it. It's just we had, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of hard rock bands submit their stuff to us, and we were just getting so submersed in that stuff we couldn't even deal with the emails.
Some of them were just kind of just generic, nothing special. Good music, but like it wasn't anything that was outstanding. And then like it's just like, how many of these times can we just be like, it's you guys are great musicians, but it's just not what we want to spend our time doing.
Yeah, so when Sam emailed us, I saw the description. I was like, we're probably gonna have to say no because of the general rule. And I checked out one song, and I was like, no way, we're covering these dudes. These guys are awesome. So yeah, you guys really stand out. I just wanted to say that to you.
Means a lot. Thank you. So does that mean you like it, or is it a
it's definitely good.
Yeah,
it's outstanding.
Oh no.
I just had to meet the people that made it.
Nah, it's actually good. I've been listening to it for the last 2 weeks or so now. Since I kind of like James is like, yo, check these guys out. Like, we got this coming up, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's see what's going on. And I put it on, and I'm like, who is what? Wow, damn, this is awesome. Like it's like the kind of music for me that like, springtime's coming around and you just want to blast your music with the windows down, and like a lot of like music I listen to is kind of disgusting to people. So when I have my windows down and stuff like that, they're like, oh my God, but then like I feel like when I have something like this playing and everyone's just like, oh yeah, let's go. I'm following this motherfucker, like let's go.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome.
Now if you could just get a few million more people to feel exactly the way you do.
Nothing says springtime like going and digging a grave,
Yeah, man.
No, I think what you guys like you really have working in your favor is like you've got that modern sound that kind of pushes things a bit, which attracts guys like us who listen to a lot of different music. But then you also have the classic stuff, because I showed you guys to both my dad and my stepdad because they're both like classic hard rock nuts, and they're like, this is really good. I didn't realize people still made good music like this. So I think you kind of get getting people in both camps to follow you, which is kind of cool.
That's kind of the goal, I guess.
Yeah. Stepdad rock. It's a new genre.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is everybody has like, all five of us have very unique taste in music, and I think that kind of reflects in the when we write.
Yeah, well, it's like, you have like that song "Blood in the Water." It's like, it's kind of like not necessarily super dark, but it's like, it's got a good theme for it, and then you hear like, you're like, all right, what kind of song is this? And then you hear how it's actually played, and you're like, all right, I see what you did there. Like, fuck yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's just like really good, like kind of dark. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's just really good.
That's great, man. And that's that was like something that was brought to our attention, was like, okay, you guys have the classic rock stuff, but if you want to be competitive, like in the modern like rock genre market, I guess, like you guys kind of got to add a little bit more bite to what you do. And so that was kind of what pushed us in that direction. And like, we'd never had breakdowns in our songs before. And I come from like the Southern California, like hardcore metal scene. So like getting to play breakdowns in this band has like totally made me that much happier. Cause like that was what I grew up playing, was like that type of music. So I don't know. For me, it just
Nice.
adds that much more excitement to get to play in a band is get to
Yeah.
break.
I grew up playing, like not playing, but listening to tons of hardcore music and all that, and love
Yes.
and appreciate
It
the
just gets the
breakdowns,
people going,
you know?
man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when it slows it down a little bit, and you're just like, oh wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, hell
It's like in
yeah.
the words of Kid Rock, get in the pit and try to love someone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, to like classic rock style music though, but it's like yeah, it's amazing. I think it's really good. It's definitely unique, and it's I don't know. I'm definitely looking forward to like an album or something, whatever you guys got.
Yeah, we're working on
going
it. Hopefully getting in the studio in the near future again, do a few more tracks, and then see how we release it.
Awesome. I had a question for you guys regarding some of your other tracks, because I was watching some of those like live videos you did to some of the bars and stuff on YouTube, and like the song like Some of Your Lovin', those sort of things. Are they going to be on an album, or are they just kind of things you play live for
We've
fun?
actually recorded those, but they never really got released. That was kind
Okay.
of Some of Your Lovin' was actually a really early on song that we wrote once Bo had joined the band. That I personally love that song,
Right.
so hopefully, one day we can rework some of those and get them on an album. But I don't know.
That could be on your solo record.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's not on the docket at the moment, but
That was kind of in our when we were
Okay.
kind of leaning more towards the classic rock vibe. But I mean, we could put it through the filter of the
Right.
modern True Villain sound for sure.
Yeah, 'cause I really like that song. Like, that's one of my favorites that I've heard of you guys.
I
It was really
love
good.
that song as well.
It's kind of like got that
Yeah.
bluesy sort of vibe to it.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
when we started working with Nick. One thing that I think was pretty interesting is that when people listened to us, he didn't want them to even remotely think we were from Nashville. So I think that
Right.
played a little bit of a role into what we've been putting out recently.
So how did you come to work with Nick? Because Nick's like a pretty big time dude. He's worked with some major
That was
acts.
actually kind of I don't know.
That was a friend of a friend type thing. We have a friend here in town who knows him and said, "Hey, like, I feel like you'd like these guys." And he actually came out to like not the best show that we should have
Yeah, like
showcased.
the most unlikely of
Yeah.
spots.
And it was kind of like this ominous thing. Like, is he here? Like, is he even here? Like, he kind of like snuck in, didn't really introduce himself to anybody, and then just sent us an email like the next day and just like, "Yeah, I want to work with you guys." And it was like, what? Like, he was there, and we didn't have Greg with us.
That's why I liked it so much, is because I wasn't on the gig.
Yeah. And it was like this, like, dive bar. We only played like 3 songs. It was like this songwriters type thing. And it was funny too, because it was like a bunch of country acts and then us. So like, and we run into that problem a lot, like being in Nashville, where it's just like we play these shows where it's like country act.
Yeah, it's like
Us.
a bill that makes no sense for us to be on.
And then like, another country act. And but I think like, in a way that makes it cool, because then it's like people are totally not ready for like what's about to happen, and then they just get like punched in the face.
And
Yeah.
the sound guys love us because we don't have any tracks
Yeah.
to deal with. So they're like, yeah, all right, I'm going to have some
Oh
fun
wait,
mixing this
real
band.
musicians, awesome, And then like half of the room leaves because they hate it, and then the other half of the room is like, hell yeah, like this band rules, So
Dude, I remember one show we played like that. There's this lady in the front row plugging her ears.
oh yeah,
And then Bo, after the first time, I think Bo saw her, and he's like, "Well, if you didn't like that one, you're not gonna like the rest of them."
yeah. What's funny is like the dudes that went to the bar with their girls who wanted to see the singer-songwriter are like, "Dude, I'm so glad I came out tonight. Like, finally, like, there's a band that, like, I can enjoy." So, not that dudes can't like singer-songwriters, I'm just saying.
But yeah, it was honestly like a kind of a casual thing. How the Nick relationship came to be. It wasn't anything super
Formal.
Yeah, super formal. He just came and checked us out at a like they said, a gig that it wasn't necessarily the best gig for him to come see us at, but.
And so he's based
Yeah.
in Nashville.
You'd never
then?
think that, honestly, but
Okay. Interesting.
Nice.
That's kind of, you guys are kind of doing the Lord's work, converting country fans to heavier music.
Yep. You're the
Yeah, I mean,
gateway
so,
there.
honestly, like in my opinion, most people in Nashville, or most people that like country music and like all these different genres, they still like rock music. People that like rock music like country music. So kind of like, for example, I remember, I don't know if anybody's familiar with when Metallica put on their own festival back in like 2012, the Orion Festival. Yeah, they only did it 2 times. They did one in Atlantic City and then they did another one somewhere else. But anyways, the first one I went to, Eric Church actually was direct support for Metallica and people loved it. Whereas there were other bands that day that literally got booed off the stage. Yeah.
What is Metallica?
It's a little band. They've been around for but yeah, that whole particular experience kind of opened my eyes to that. That like, oh, maybe it's not like I can only listen to metal or I can only listen to rock.
Well, I think like the generation now with like having from the iPod on, like it's totally opened up just multi-genre listening because you don't have to listen to a whole record. And like there's good things and bad things about that where you can just skip around and listen to whatever you want. But I think that's really opened people up to like not being so genre specific on what they want to listen to.
Right. And also, listening to what like the radio is shoving down your throat.
Records have gone like out the window.
Yeah.
It's almost pointless to even record a record because nobody's ever going to listen to it all the way through. So there's like pros and cons to that.
Mm-hmm. There's I mean, there's a big difference as well within genres of quality. Like Brendan said, the radio stuff being shoved down your throat is very different to what actually exists within the genres. Because I really like a lot of country music, but I hate pickup truck country, the stuff that you hear on the radio. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. Like if you look at the classics like Johnny Cash and all those outlaw dudes, and then there's like the dark country, which is a new movement with all the gothic influences and stuff. There's a heap of good stuff, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of garbage too. It's the same with any genre. Yeah, like, any genre is like that.
Accurate. We've done 1 or 2 shows now where we've had like multi-genre bills that we kind of put together that it went over pretty well.
That's awesome. You gotta have a little fun for everybody, a little variety. Unless you just want to have like one of those like kicking back a bunch of brews and singing along type songs.
Yeah. I feel like we've actually gotten some loyal fans out of doing stuff like that because you're getting exposed to an audience that typically may not take their time to come see you.
Right.
It's cool. They're lucky to have you wherever you were at. You know what I mean? Like I live near Hartford, so there's like some stuff going on, and there hasn't been in a little while, but like we had the Webster Underground there and all that stuff, and then just COVID hit, so I haven't really seen anything there. But like there used to be a lot of cool bands that came through there,
It's I'm covering the same thing. I moved over to the US the month that everything went into lockdown, and I was like, finally gonna get to see gigs again because like I lived in the US a while back and I spent every cent I had on just concerts because there's everyone in the world tours here, and you might not know this, but compared to other countries, it's super cheap to go to gigs in the US. Like it's a fraction of the price in Australia, New Zealand. Like the same acts that will cost you $60 in US plus $150 in Australia. Yeah, exactly. And we've got like 5 cities worth touring in. So, you know what I mean? Like if you get in the US, you just get in a van or something and drive, and there's like, here's 50 places along the West Coast I can stop at. And in the US, Australia, you have to fly everywhere. So there's a cost of like, you can't drive. It's like 12 hours between some major cities. But like, I got here and I was like, finally new music, and then everything just fell apart. But hopefully things are going to come around. We'll get some new live music again. Looking forward to it. The last gig I actually went to was Obituary, playing one of their albums in full, and that was a super weird lineup as well because you guys just reminded me of it, saying some of the bills you played.
Oh yeah.
Where you guys know Obituary, right? Like the death metal act. Yeah. The guys who opened for them was a 2-piece punk comedy band. Both of the dudes were in Borat mankinis. They told jokes and then just play. It was like one guitarist, one drummer, and the songs were about like meeting dolphins you become friends with. Like, it was the weirdest shit. And that opened for Obituary, and half the audience was like,
what
the hell is going on here?
Like, I want to check them out.
But I can find it and I can send it to you guys later.
Okay.
It'll take me a little bit of digging to find it. It's some super obscure, like random local act from the city I lived in.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
What was the weirdest bill you've been on?
Wish
Like the one that
I
made the
could do
least
the
sense for
winery
you
one.
The
guys?
motorcycle rally.
Oh my gosh! Well, it was billed as a motorcycle. What's up?
Doing both.
So it was billed as a motorcycle
Said do
rally, and we
both.
show up and we're in this like winery.
Which is cement and glass.
Yeah.
Mind you.
And it's like, did you guys know what type of band we were before you booked us? Like, we're a rock band. Like, this is not going to go over well. And yeah, man, it was just they're like, can you play quieter? And it's like, not really. You know? And
Everyone was like seated and in seats, and they're just like dragging their tables further and further from the stage.
yeah. But we did get like a really hardcore fan of that, who's the bartender, and like she was loving it, you know, like she was all about it.
She was requesting songs.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember asking the lady that booked us. I was like, "Hey, did you happen to look at like what kind of band we are?" And then she like went and did some things. She's like, "Well, I mean, we don't have anywhere else to put you, and if you don't play, you don't get paid." So we were just like,
all right, cool, let's do
okay,
it. Yeah.
"Fuck it, we're playing."
And it's like we kind of give it our all like anytime we play, so it's not like we're gonna like give them True Villains light, you know. So
Yeah, that was probably the weirdest show, or maybe the one in.
Yeah, we were on tour with Steel Panther, and there was like an off day, and we were trying to book a show, kind of routing to the next city, and so we played at a really small place in Boone, North Carolina. And we ended up setting off the smoke alarms with our geysers. And so the fire marshal had to come out, which anytime that happens, the bar gets fined. So but the bar was like, y'all can come back and play anytime.
yeah. Do you guys remember that day where we played in like
awesome.
a shopping mall? Like the venue was in Florida and it was in a mall.
Oh yeah,
Maverick.
that was the last gig that
That
ever
was the
happened.
last gig that was ever going to be played at this place. So like all the like stores were clearing out.
Yeah.
They were shutting down the mall, but they had one last show there, and there was no access to the venue. You had to literally wheel your stuff like through the food court of this mall.
That's right.
But like all the places were abandoned, so it looked like something out of like a apocalyptic video game.
Like
you
Tony
know,
Hawk Pro Skater.
yeah, like or like Evil Dead or something. Like you thought that like it just was creepy, you know, like the little like buzzing neon lights like blinking, and all the signs were like, you know, askew, and I was like, dude, what is going on? This is creepy.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
That was the one where I signed that woman's
Sounds like that.
and her like 19-year-old boyfriend got very upset with me. She was like a 50-year-old who dates teenagers, and that
Honey badger, right?
Yeah.
a honey badger.
Honey badger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember that. I remember when
The honey badger.
Yeah.
That's older than a cougar, right? You know, like
the best part of that particular story is when
Yeah.
they were leaving, the guy turned around and like pulled his shirt down and looked at Greg. He's like, "I have chest hair too."
That's right.
And I don't think he was like, trying to be funny. I think he was being funny.
he was being competitive.
Yeah. Cool, man. Sweet.
he was hurt.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Sounds like that could have been like a music
Yeah.
video for you guys, just like you in that creepy structure.
Yeah. Come on, let's get out of here, Betty.
I actually, you just reminded me of probably the weirdest musical experience I've had in my whole life was I was in Thailand. I was just kind of traveling by myself, and I was at this bar having a beer. And over the fence was this like fancy, swanky venue with all these middle-aged people in suits. And it was like a string band, like classic string band on stage. And this was back, you guys remember that song, What Does the Fox Say? So that was like, yeah, that was super popular at the time. And for some reason, this like string band started playing a classic music cover of What Does the Fox Say?
I'd puke.
And there's like the lead singer on stage, who's obviously like a Thai guy, and he's like singing, like swooning,
awesome.
crooning, "What Does the Fox Say?" And all these middle-aged people in suits are slow dancing to it. And it was just I don't know, it was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Like Richard Cheese status, or like just like very, very slow.
Like slow, it's like like a waltz type thing. I don't know the term, but it was like arms around each other, like head depressed into neck, slow dancing
That's
to What
one
Does
of
the
those
Fox
moments
Say
where it's
ensues.
like, have I been drugged?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you know, like, is this really happening? Is this reality?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Oh.
exactly. And I actually was drugged on that trip, but it wasn't at that point. But that's a whole different story. Anyway, went slightly off topic. Kind of wanted to ask you guys, what's your feeling on the obviously the last few years? It's been a massive revival in classic genres. We've had the throwback movement to classic rock. So you've had those bands like Greta Van Fleet and stuff reaching mainstream status and winning awards again. How do you guys feel about all this music coming back? And do you think it's kind of going to make a comeback, or do you think it's just a phase that's going to fizzle
I
out?
don't think it ever really went away. I just think it's not, super mainstream like it used to be. I think, while I may not be the biggest fan of some of those more throwback bands, I think that it's good overall for the genre, at least turning people on to it.
Yeah, but the only way for it to sustain, I think, is to continue to kind of push the boundaries as having a modern active rock vibe, marrying the classic rock kind of influence, but not being just like a hard niche classic rock throwback band, because that's not sustainable, I don't think. I think that's more of a phase, but I do think that the rock revival will continue as long as there are bands that push the envelope and push the boundaries.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think like there are those bands that are definitely 100% we're just playing the old sound again because people like it, but there's definitely like more of a movement like you guys of people who are trying to sort of fuse the old style with newer music, and hopefully people are receptive to it like they have been recently. Because it's kind of good to see more sort of rock music playing on the radio again.
Yeah, and like
last
rappers
year or
are
so.
trying to be like rock stars now. I don't know if you've noticed, but like they've like transitioned into rock, or what they call quote unquote rock.
Sure.
Right now, which kind of sounds more like pop
Yeah.
punk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're calling it rock and like wearing leather jackets and studs and stuff, and it's just
Mhm.
like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it makes people kind of turn their ear away from what they normally listen to and want to listen to heavier music, like,
Yeah,
good on them.
rock has been permeating like every popular genre for decades. I mean, think about like Jason Aldean, think about Post Malone.
Yeah. We'll go back to like Aerosmith and Run DMC.
Of course,
you know,
Aerosmith
like,
and Run
yeah.
DMC, absolutely. But it's all over popular music still.
Yeah.
Like always has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even people like Miley Cyrus, her last album was kind of like a pop punkish thing, and she said she's going to do a Metallica cover album. So that's kind of
Wait,
cool to
is
see
that
pop stars
confirmed? Miley
branching
Cyrus
out
is
into
doing
those areas
Metallica
again.
album?
Yeah, I think.
I read a couple of things
Yeah, I
saying
mean,
she
as
would.
much
I
as
don't know if
like
it's
people
true,
raise
but
an
people are
eyebrow, I
saying
think
she is.
overall it's good because her fans are probably so much younger that maybe would never go out of their way to listen to Metallica. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
I think it's kind of stupid to turn people away from that and be like, well, Miley Cyrus shouldn't cover Metallica, she's going to ruin it. Like, you should want people to be exposed to that music if that's the type
Yeah.
of music that you love.
Right.
It's like how Ozzy Osbourne, he got so many new fans from that song he did with Post Malone. Like, a lot of young people were like, who is this guy? Type
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, he
Yeah.
even did a song
I
with
remember,
Elton John.
like,
You know what I mean?
there was
You're
that
like,
Yeah.
tweet where like people were like, "Who's this
You
Ozzy
know,
Osbourne character?" Like Post Malone made him famous. It's like, dude,
This
you're
reality
talking
TV
about
star.
the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
was that person you're trolling, or like, do you think they're really that naive? I don't
No,
know.
it's a real thing. I've spoken to people like, I've never heard of him until
Like,
Post
you
Malone
that
came on
makes
his
me
song.
sick.
Not know. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
wild.
Like, your parents obviously didn't love you if they
You know,
didn't teach you.
The other
like,
thing I
like,
think
come on.
that is kind of specific to the rock genre is that the fans are so loyal to bands. You know, that's why I don't think it ever really went away. Because even if there's bands that maybe are
Yeah.
not like playing the radio every 10 minutes anymore, if they go out, they're still selling out decent sized venues. You know, and there's still an audience for it.
Yeah. Metallica toured the Black Album for 5 years.
Yeah.
They did 5 world tours.
Yeah.
I personally wish, and I might be like,
Yeah.
old school in my thinking, but I wish that people now would appreciate music like they did, say, even 20 years ago, where like you got really excited when a band was putting a record out and you had to actually get in your car and drive to the record store, like, or go to like a midnight release of your favorite band. Like all that is just kind of
Yeah.
gone.
There's kind of like a bit of a revival movement with like, how vinyl's come so back into popularity and stuff. Like it's kind of there's like a group of people, I guess, in the music industry as fans who are still moving back
Yeah,
into
because I
that
think
sort of
there's something to
classic
be said
mindset
for
that
it.
you're talking
It's not.
about.
It's more of a process to get it, I guess, than turning your phone on and just logging into your Spotify and shuffling a playlist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always thought
Right.
people who kind of like put an album on shuffle are psychotic because the band has spent so much time and effort laying out the tracks and being like, this is how I want you to listen to it. This is how it should be listened to. You're like, fuck you. I'm putting on shuffle. I want to hear song 8 first. Like,
Yeah, that makes no sense. You're like, oh, that one's a banger, but then you're like, you didn't listen to like what was intentionally led up into that banger, like.
some albums make no sense as well. It's like a transition from a song that just comes out of nowhere. And you're like, why does the song start like that? Like, well, if
Yeah,
you listen to the
context
previous
really
song, you know
exists
why.
anymore.
Right.
So especially if it's like, if like people, if someone shuffles a concept album, something's wrong with them. Like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, I was thinking the
Right.
same thing.
It's like skipping a chapter in a book.
yeah. I just want to read chapter 7 first. It sounds good to me. Like,
Yeah. Or like if you're like you just like or listening to a book even, and you're just like, I'm just gonna skip 20 minutes. Fuck it.
they should add a shuffle
And then I'm
button
gonna
to
go back.
audiobooks.
Maybe.
I personally
Yeah.
wish that that kind of thing would come back a little more, especially like a little bit of a younger generation than us.
Exactly. And like for us, like people like who do what Brendan and I do, who review music, we have we listen to the album from start to finish because you need to fully appreciate it and to be able to write about it accurately. I know that there are some people out there who review music who just listen to like 1 or 2 tracks, but I'm not criticizing them because I mean it's a time frame thing, but you should really
I
listen
think
to the whole thing if you're going to write
full-length
something about it.
album with the album
Oh,
art and
absolutely.
the liner notes and like the sequencing, the track listing, I think it's the greatest art form that has ever existed, honestly.
Yeah. I used to like when I used to collect CDs and I can't anymore because I've been moving around so much. I still buy some every now and then, but I've been moving internationally for a while now. And it's really hard to transport stuff. But back when I used to always buy CDs, I used to get so excited about taking out the album art from the sleeve and like
Yeah,
reading the linear
even
notes and the lyrics and
this
stuff.
sounds
And
weird, but like
it's a whole
even the
experience
smell
that
of
having
like
the physical
opening
copy
like a
brings.
vinyl, you know what I mean? Like you get that like I don't know, is that weird? Oh.
No, and it appeals to all of the senses.
Yeah,
No,
that's the sense
No.
experience.
no.
Yes. You're like, whoa, there it is. It's shiny. It's colored, or is it black?
What does it taste like?
Yeah. Does it
Well,
break easily?
what about you guys? Like, what's your favorite sort of format? Do you like vinyl, CD? Are we going back to cassette, which is making a comeback, or how do you guys listen to your music
I had
other
a
than digital,
pretty
obviously?
large vinyl collection when I was living in California, but I sold most of it because they're so cumbersome to move across the country with like that. And I actually I
Yeah.
didn't realize how valuable vinyl is because like when I sold it, I made like a pretty like it paid for all of the gas to get from California like to Nashville. And it was just like, man, like I didn't realize how much people actually still cared about vinyl and the value that vinyl holds today. But yeah, I definitely like if I like a band a lot, I will definitely order like a vinyl. And like my family knows that that's what I like. So for Christmas, like that's what they get me as gifts is like vinyl of a band that I like. And they usually have to order it from like Sweden or something. So they have to order it like February, the year before Christmas for it to get here on time. So.
Yeah. That's cool. I need to get a record player. I have a whole
It's definitely
sound system set up, but
an
I just don't
expensive
have a
habit
record
because I mean you
player.
have to like buy.
And
If you're gonna have a nice set of speakers, you have to buy like the preamp for it, or if you have like a sub or something, to really get the experience.
I have like a little console set up, this and that. It's got the preamp inside of it. So like all I have to do is buy a phonograph and plug it in and it's ready to go. But I don't have a space for it right now. And so it's just kind of in a box. And then I have all my like vinyl that my mom gave me from when she was a kid, teenager and all that stuff. And then, her starting to grow
Yeah.
up
I
before
have a
like they
Fleet-
made the switch to
Oh, sorry.
cassettes and 8-tracks
I
and
have
all
a
that crap.
Fleetwood.
And
I have a
vinyl.
Fleetwood Mac
And
vinyl
oh,
that was my
no,
mom's.
no,
that
you're
she
good. I was
gave
about
me,
you,
and
Fleetwood.
it has her maiden last name,
I do
like
too.
written in pen, like, which I thought was pretty cool because it was hers from when she was like
Written on it?
19.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I have a Beatles White Album, and it says my mom's last name on it. Like, and I'm just like, Ma, why'd you write on this? Like, I have like, I have like, and I have two of them. Like, there's two of them, and they both have her name inscribed on. One's in the front, one's in the inside of it. And it's just like, Ma, you didn't know what you were doing at the time, but like, whoo, these vinyls are nice. Yeah, I got a shit ton of Beatles albums from my mom, and then I have a bunch of like Johnny Cash from my grandma,
Awesome.
and like stuff like that. I have a bunch of Led Zeppelin. I have Black Sabbath for my mom. Like she had a bunch of cool stuff, but yeah, I gotta stop slacking and get some vinyl player.
There's like, it's gonna sound super hipster, but actually like, going to like secondhand stores and thrift shops and
yeah,
looking
I
into
found,
vinyl bins,
I
it's
found
like
an
they have some
original.
crazy good stuff for
Michael
dirt
Jackson's
cheap.
like one of my favorite
Um,
artists, and I found an original pressing of Thriller in a Kentucky thrift store for like $15. And I was like, what? Like I looked
That's
it up
awesome.
on eBay, and they're going for like 150. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely picking this one up. So Kentucky thrift store, thank you for the the find.
Yeah, buddy, that's cool.
Yeah, there's this place in Australia. It was this tiny town in the middle of nowhere, and they had this like 2-story thrift shop. And they had an entire room of just vinyl, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can just bring a box and fill it for $5." And
Fuck yeah.
there was some like really good stuff in there. I was like, "You guys know what you even
out in
have
LA,
in
you
this
gotta
room?"
meet
Like, I don't
them,
think
which
you
is an
do.
amazing place.
Didn't they shut down though?
Did they?
Yeah.
I think they shut down.
I
Yeah,
don't know if they
I used to go
did.
there
I've
all
been
the
to
time
that.
when I
I've
lived
been to
in-
the one in San
yeah. The one in
Francisco
Los
before.
Angeles is like twice as big as the one in San Francisco. It's massive.
Yeah, but that time in my life, I was into tons of hip hop, so I was like scourging like for all like the living legends
Yeah,
stuff I
and they
could
and they put
find and
out
this
like
and that, and, like
sample
just
ones
it
too,
was
like where you
crazy.
can, like,
It
if
was
you're a
crazy.
DJ and you want to like sample the beat that they're doing, like without the lyrics or the raps on top of that, so you can find those too, like if you really dig at like Amoeba or record stores like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a ton of fun going out that way. I haven't been out there in years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're talking about LA, right? Yeah, it's really like it's kind of sad at the moment because I lived in the US previously and I'm back now, obviously, but with COVID and stuff, the city's kind of like in a state of ruin a little bit. I was there the other day and it's
Damn.
not looking good. Things are looking pretty trashed.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad, but I mean, I'm sure
Yeah,
everyone is
That's an
kind of struggling
understatement.
like that at the moment. It's been a weird year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I think last year was just one of those things that's like everybody's just gonna talk about how shitty it was. Like, I know I had my fair share of personal bullshit going on, and then some people had it worse, and some people were, I don't know, man. It was just a shit show.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't been able to work since last February because the work visa process is so slow with all the stuff going on with COVID that they still haven't gotten me my documents. So that's been a nightmare. But I mean, there's the only plus side to the year was that it's probably one of the best years in human history for musical output.
yeah,
Yeah.
They have the
Bands
time
have just been
to write.
churning stuff out because they haven't been able to tour. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and like
And yeah, this year is gonna be sick too with all the people that didn't didn't put out something last year
Yeah.
and were working on something. You know what I mean? They had the time to fucking make it good. So 21 releases are gonna be insane. I think.
it has been already. Like January and February,
Yeah.
there was like it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even
Yeah,
enough time
send
in the
some
day to
stuff
listen
our
to all the
way.
good
Yeah,
stuff
let us
coming
know
out.
what you're listening to.
Oh, we can do. I'll send you a link to our website as well. It's all published up there. We do like a couple of reviews a day type thing generally. Yeah, but we also do a monthly playlist. If you guys want to check it, that's probably the best way to actually to listen to.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
We put one
On
track from
Spotify.
every album that we review on Spotify.
If they're on Spotify.
Yeah, if they're on Spotify, not everyone is. There's
Yeah.
there's those people that are against Spotify, but yeah. Brendan generally has a couple of like fun questions to wrap up the interview
All
for the
right.
last portion. So I'm going to let him take over here.
All right. Well, what are you guys' your
man.
guilty pleasure bands or
Is it
songs?
good for us to answer this?
But just gonna ruin our image.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Like the type of stuff that's like, you're like your friend comes over and you're like, oh shit, I gotta turn this off real quick. You're like switching it. Like, oh, I was not just listening
Man,
to that, and they're like,
For
you
me,
were.
I listen to a lot of probably what maybe would be considered embarrassing pop music when I'm,
Yeah.
wanting something different.
Well, because we play so much rock and like that's what we write that like a lot of times like when I get in my car or whatever, I like to listen to different types of genres. So I would say I don't have a specific band, but just pop. Like I really like to kind of take me out of that headspace of rock, and they're very similar too, like melody wise. It's just production is different, and so I'm trying to think of like something that would be embarrassing, but like I don't really like.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I don't feel. I love Michael Jackson.
I mean, I'm looking at it from a perspective like I'm a big like motorcycle enthusiast, and sometimes I'm riding around on my Harley. I'm like listening to Dua Lipa. It's like if people could hear it, they'd be like, what? That would be mine, I guess. I think that probably goes for all of us.
Yeah.
I actually like listening to that stuff because sometimes it can trigger like a riff idea. There's a cool rhythmic pattern.
Who are some like your influences for cover songs and things of like that? Like, I saw on your live, like on your YouTube, Take Me Home Tonight, stuff like that. Like, I'm sure you guys have done a lot of other cool covers, but like, what kind of brings those about?
I mean, well, the cover stuff is like, I feel like you got to grab one that you think that the majority of the people are gonna just immediately resonate with. Because like when you play a cover, oftentimes it's because you're the opening band and you need to do something to like grab the people's attention because they don't know any of your songs. So yeah, that's where that came about, and that's such an awesome song. So
we try to pick songs that are like recognizable, like Matt said, but also something that can be sort of transformative. So like,
kind of feel the crowd.
Song, it is somewhat rock, but we like obviously take it to another level with the rock, so that we try to just transform it into kind of our own thing, but everybody still knows exactly what it is.
Yeah. I would say one of my favorite things we did, we played a Halloween show last year, and I grew up listening to Rob Zombie, like loved Rob Zombie, and we played Dragula.
Oh yeah.
And we added this like super heavy breakdown, like in the middle
awesome
of it,
song.
like a really cool riff that just came out of nowhere. And just doing things like that, like kind of like taking it and making it your own, like Greg was saying, because then at that point you're just playing what's on the record, right? Unless you actually take it and do something with it.
We've done Thriller at a Halloween show.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Same thing with that
we
too.
had a breakdown at the end.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we just we usually do a cover here.
Oh, I want to see that. That'd be
fun. Try to
do
something that we can make our own and something that you don't hear people play super often.
We do The Hills by The Weeknd, but it's like super heavy. So that one's fun too.
Are any of these like videos up anywhere of these shows? Because I'd love to see some of these covers.
Quality video somewhere of
Dragula. That's a shame.
I don't know who has it.
If you guys could open up for any band, you guys like it doesn't matter. They could be alive or dead. You do like basically like kind of like an ultimate kind of concert idea. Who would you want to open up for?
Metallica or Guns N' Roses.
That'd be fun.
I think
that'd be kind of fun. I saw Metallica live once when I was in high school. That was a shit.
Hell yeah!
Oh, nice.
It's a good live
cover
show.
songs too. They
I think
did
it'd be cool if the
Misfits
Foo Fighters
covers.
opened up
like
for us.
And then everybody just left.
That'd be fun.
You at least would get like the show poster out of it.
Yeah. I would say, I love Michael Jackson, so I definitely would want to do something with Michael Jackson. He's dead though, so can't do it. Allegedly.
That's true. The hologram.
Yeah.
There is the hologram.
Yeah.
Just have Michael Jackson hologram in your show, and he can just back you guys up.
Yeah, there you go.
Then the hologram goes off and like, now
Michael
who you've
Jackson's
all been
hologram
waiting
in
for.
the tip bucket.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, let's go. Throw it down. And then this kind of like ties in with like the guilty pleasure almost, but like, well, what bands have you guys been listening to? Like, what are you guys into?
I mean, I go back
Outside
and
of like
pop
obviously
and
the
rock
stuff
pretty
that inspires
frequently.
your
Those are
music.
like the main thing. So
Yeah.
I guess a couple bands in the pop genre are a band called The Strike that I've been really digging right now, and then The Midnight is like my all-time favorite like pop band. And then I always go back to like Misfits is like my go-to driving in the car, but it doesn't help with road rage when you got like the Misfits going on and some guy cuts off.
Yeah. It depends on like
Michael
what era of
Graves. I
Misfits
love
though
Michael
too.
Graves,
Like, you know,
dude.
I love like that kind of
wants
second
crap on
era
Michael Graves,
where,
but they
you
got
know, like
so much better. It was either Michael
yeah, like,
but like it was either that or they made more money and were able to afford to
oh
not
man,
record in their garage. So it's like there's a lot of factors that go into it.
yeah, it's so good. Oh yeah, dude, I'd love to see
Yeah.
him like do
Well, they
like a
did.
reunion show,
They
this and that,
did,
and like actually do like, you know, dig up
they
her bones
played,
or something like.
Like two in
That'd be a
Vegas,
ton of fun.
two in Madison Square Garden, one at Staples Center with Doyle, Von Frankenstein, Jerry Only, and Danzig. Like they did a reunion show. It was only like 6 shows. They were booking it one show at a time because I guess the quote was they wanted to see if they could get along with each other. So like that's why they didn't book a tour. But yeah, I would love to see him with Michael Graves. I mean, he still plays. Like he plays out at like dive bars, like and just plays Misfits tunes, like a solo. But
yeah, I've actually been listening to for some reason a couple weeks ago. I like remembered all these cool songs that used to be in motocross videos that I would watch when I was younger. And I kind of like I went and dug up some of those bands like Hot Water Music. There's a really cool band called Strung Out. I think there's some Motion City soundtrack songs in there, like a bunch of kind of punk rock influence stuff. What about you, Greg?
Nice.
I've been going back through some old Animal Collective records like Strawberry Jam and Merriweather Post Pavilion. Just the cool kind of soundscape.
Nice.
Sort of, where's the song? There's a beautiful song in here, but you gotta kind of work for it.
What about you, Brendan? What have you been jamming?
Oh, dude. Well, last couple of days I've been jamming, True Villains. It's been fun. My wife has been like, "What's going on? Are you all right? Like, I actually like the music you're playing today." I've been listening to a lot of basically. Oh God, I gotta pull up my like too many different things. I go from like hardcore to like the ambient music. I actually was just listening to a bunch of Arthur and Punisher.
That's good stuff from San Diego.
Cool, man.
Yeah, Arthur and Punisher.
Industrial one-man project. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. He's pretty cool. I just listened to the new Clouds Taste Satanic. And they have some cool instrumental covers. Love that. And then I've just been digging these 2 bands I just found out about, Crushing Sun and Wells Valley. And a 3rd band, Sots. Those guys are like some pummeling, really cool, like blackened, kind of atmospheric, just that kind of nutty stuff.
Big week.
Yeah. It's a ton of shit.
Yeah, I kind of went down a weird rabbit hole on Apple Music. I found this category called Worldwide that literally just has every type of music from like random countries you never hear music from. And I found this label called Sahel Sounds, this Sahel Sounds, that puts music out of Africa. And they got a bunch of really cool shit. Found this band I became obsessed with called Wow Wow Collective. It's actually an anthropology experiment. from the Swedish dude who went to Senegal and recorded 20 artists, and then went back to Sweden, recorded a bunch of other ones, and then jammed their music together. And it's everything. It's got like reggae, just, spiritual jazz, like some religious stuff from Africa, psychedelic rock, punk. Yeah, it's really cool shit. And then another band that they put out called Meduo Mokta, which is from Niger, which is like just full like psychedelic rock. There's a lot of like guitar shredding, really cool stuff. But that's where I'm at.
I'm like
just a lot of weird world
that
music.
vinyl, but the vinyl like sleeve is made of acid. You just like rip it up and like put it on your tongue.
Yeah, and contact the label and recommend it. I have an idea for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people will start losing them, like the records though. They like set it down somewhere and then forget where it was.
Brendan, you got anything else for us, or was that the last of your
I
general
think that was
questions?
it for me. I was good. We talked about a lot of stuff that, kind of a lot of these things just answer themselves in a way, Yeah, I'm good.
I got one more question for you guys then. Well, two actually. One is if people want to check you guys out, what's the best place for them to go do that?
Handle, I believe that is our Facebook. If you type in facebook.com/True Villains Nashville, and then Spotify, Apple Music, basically anywhere you can stream music, just under True Villains. A before the I though.
The traditional spellings of everything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we're I think we just made a TikTok a little late to that game, but that should be
and
we posting more stuff on there too.
Fun experiment.
Yeah.
Nice. And lastly, I just want to say, like, do you guys have anything you want to sort of talk about that's coming up? Like, do you want to tell anything about everyone about some stuff you're working on?
We got a pretty dope motorcycle rally that we're playing about an hour outside of Nashville coming up, and just trying to get back out on the road this year, hopefully, and keep doing what we were doing until COVID killed it all.
Yeah, so stay tuned because there's stuff in the works for sure.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks so much for having me.
I want to say thanks for coming on. It was a good chat. You guys are awesome to talk to. Yeah, no worries. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. That was True Villains. Check out their music after this podcast. Make sure to show them some support.